Hello everyone, this is Hammertron here on my HammerMobil channel with a new Playmobil review for you. This time I am reviewing the Playmobil Wildlife Set 9373 Noah's Ark. This set was first made in 2017 and I bought this in a store sometime during 2018 or 2019, and this is the biggest Playmobil box I have reviewed so far. So it's huge. And I think it's mostly because this boat piece is a single piece, so it has to be in a big box along with all the other little accessories here. Although not so little. Sometimes they're very tiny little items here, but it looks like there's not so many tiny little items. A lot of medium-sized items with the animal figures. So this is the front of the box, and here is the bottom of the box. And here is the top of the box. Lots of nice pictures there. And here is one side of the box. This has the manufacturing information there. And a nice little picture there. And the other side of the box, there it is. Nice picture. And finally, the back of the box. This has my favorite picture on the Playmobil boxes. So it shows Noah's Ark and a lot of the animals and some of the food accessories and people. So I'll open this up and review the set itself in a moment. Here I have most of the stuff taken out of the little plastic bags, and I'm sorting through the stuff in order to put it together. Here is the boat, and this part was already in the boat. If we look carefully, we can see the screws holding it in place there. So like here, there's some screws holding this part into the hull of the ship. So looks interesting. So we'll keep putting this together here. I've finished the first page of instructions. I put in some of these pieces here that snap into place. Some of them just slide into little slots. And here's a door, or a cage door that opens and closes. And a little locking mechanism here. So we can unlock it and slide things down. So it's a lot of fun putting this thing together. So I enjoy the building experience with things like this. Here are the accessories that come with this set 9373 Noah's Ark. A lot of food items and tools. We have things like a basket, fire, a basket of potatoes or beans, a casket of water or something to drink, a lantern, some hay. What's interesting is we have 4 bales of hay, the same mold but 2 different colors, and each of these has a couple of slots where we can put it in a figure's hand, and they can hold it. So that's nice. And a crate, some vegetation, a couple of things that kind of look like apples or something, and some meat. We've seen these in other sets, so it's either for people to eat or for the lions to eat. Here's a pot and a bucket, perhaps a trough or something to put water in for the animals to drink or some other purpose. And we have a broom and a pitchfork. This one's a bit warped. I have to see if I can straighten this out. And a walking stick or cane. Some carrots, cabbage, lettuce, bananas, so, some bunches of bananas, and a bowl with a handle there. And maybe this is meant to be a straw bed or something for the figures. We can have them lying down. I think it works best for the figures. I don't think the animals would fit on these very well. So a lot of nice accessories to fill out the ark. So I'm happy with all the little pieces there. Here are the figures that come with this set. We have Noah and Noah's wife, and here is Noah with a full head of hair. It's not a circular type hair piece. He has a beard and an extra robe, which I think we would be able to take off if we can get it pulled over the arm and the head, but I don't think we really need to do that. Underneath, it looks like it's very plain. I don't think there's any printing on the figure's body or the leg piece. Just some nice sculpting for the sandals and shorts and some painting there, but not a whole lot of details there. The articulation is normal. We can turn the head around. Seems to get blocked at some point. The arm, this side is limited by this article of clothing there. This side goes all the way around, and the legs go up and down. Now it seems to be limited by this piece of clothing, but other than that, it looks good. Here is Noah's wife. This figure has a circular type hair piece where we can put on this headband, and long braided hair in the back, some extra plastic piece put over the body. There's some printing here. We see some printing on the front of the legs and the body, but no printing on the back. Here's an extra purse piece that we attached to the peg here. Now this does limit the articulation on this arm here, and it's also limited by this article of clothing, so we can't, well, we can spin it all the way around. It's a bit tough. The head does not turn, and the legs go up as a single piece. So it looks like a nice figure for Noah and his wife. Here are the animals we get with this Noah's Ark set. We have some birds down here. I have 3 of this color bird, but in 2 poses. One that looks like it's ready to fly, and one that's leaning down to eat something. So I think this set was supposed to have just one of each of these, but this set had an extra one of these, So an extra bird. Now these birds are very similar to these, all one color. This one's in two poses, kind of a sitting pose and one ready to take flight. And these little birds have little peg holes. We just have to find the right size peg somewhere on Noah's Ark in order to display these birds. So these look nice. However, there's no painting on them, so very simple. We get a couple more birds. These look like parrots. So perhaps one is meant to be the male and one is the female, but I can't tell which one is supposed to be which. They both look very colorful and very nice. So I think normally the male is more colorful and more flashy and flamboyant than the female, but I can't tell between these two. But nicely sculpted. I think these are made by putting two different pieces together. The wing pieces are attached to the body piece, but they were already assembled when I opened up the box. So these look nice. These clip onto railings or someplace that a Playmobil figure's hand would normally hold on to something. So that's how we can display these. This set also has a couple of tiny little mice or rats. So all one color, very small, simple mold. And it looks like a pair of meerkats, one in a standing position, one in a sitting position. So they do have a little bit of painting, so I like the painting and the attention to some detail there. So they look nice. Then we have a pair of pandas. Now these two are identical, so they are exactly the same. So they have the same articulation. You know, the legs move that far forward, this far back, and the head can move down and up, and it looks like the forepaws are molded so it can hold on to something, perhaps some bamboo. So these look nice. We also have a pair of giraffe. These are identical to each other. So the legs move this far back, this far forward. The tail does not move. And the neck moves up this high and moves down that much. It's not perfectly smooth. There's a little bit of texturing, but nice painting. So it looks nice. So those are identical. Then we have a pair of zebras. These are also identical. As we run our fingers along it, we can feel the sculpting detail where the stripes are. So the stripes are sculpted in and then just painted. So they put a lot of work into this. So it has a thick body, so it's not just like a horse. The horses in Playmobil tend to be very thin so that the figures can sit on it, but they can't sit on something like this. So the articulation is, they can move this far back and this far forward. This side moves a lot more. There we go. No articulation on the tail. And the head moves down that much and goes up that much. So Some nice painting on it. So all the stripes have been sculpted everywhere on it, on the head, the neck, the body, the legs. So they put a lot of work into the zebra figure. Then we have a pair of lions. So the lion figures are identical, except the male one is given this extra mane, which is just another plastic piece attached to the head. So their articulation is identical because these are actually identical figures. So looking at this one, the tail can turn around, the legs can move this far back, a lot of articulation there. They can move this far forward, so that's nice. And the head moves down that far, moves up, and there's also jaw articulation. So we get the same on the male line, but it just has an extra plastic piece which limits the head movement just a little bit. Just a little bit. It can move almost as well as the female lion. And then we have the orangutans. And we have a male orangutan and a female orangutan. We can tell the difference between them based on the head. Here is a fully grown, mature male orangutan with the large puffy pieces on the side of the face. And also the body of the male orangutan seems to be larger than the female orangutan. I think the arms and the legs are the same on both of them. Just the body and the heads are different. We'll look at the female first here. So we can move, well, the arms can move all the way around. The legs can move that far back and this far forward. And the head can move this far forward and move this far back. And if we look at the hands, they can hold on to some bar pieces, and also it looks like the feet can hold on to some bar pieces there. So I think we can put them in this pose. That's the female. Here's the male. It should be identical. The legs move that far back, this far forward. The arms move all the way around. The head moves this far forward and back quite a bit. So let's see, can I get it back? Yes. So we don't want to push too hard. So I think the best pose is on all fours. So I think this is a nice selection of animals for Noah's Ark. We can always add more animals from other Playmobil sets if we want. Here is Noah's Ark. I think this is the largest single Playmobil set I have ever reviewed. It's a very large single piece. This hull can actually float. And here's what it looks like on this side. Here it's pretty open here. Let's take a look around. We can see large openings so we can get to the inside with our hands. Although my adult size hands are a bit tight. It's a bit tight for me to fit in there. And this side is kind of closed up. We have a window here that we can open up. And here's the locking trap door. Here's some clips where we can put some tools. Here's some railings. Here's the other side. We can see inside, so it looks very nice. So it's easy for us to put our hands in it. There is the top. Now here are some small pegs where we can put those birds, the birds that have a peg hole onto this part here, and also right there. Let's see. Yeah, right there at the top. And then the parrots, we can fit them on the railings here. Oops. And the railing up here on this side. And I think they'll fit here too on these railings. Now, this top part did come off pretty easily. And actually, I'm kind of happy about that. It allows us to get easier access to the inside. We can get easier access to the inside, and also it makes it easier to put this back in the box it came in for storage. You know, if we want to put this away for a little while, we can keep it in the box. I think all of this will fit in nicely. Now, here's the bottom. There are a couple of wheels here. The wheels allow us to roll it around on a flat surface, but this thing will still float. Also, here is where we can attach a little motor, where maybe a remote control motor, where we can have this thing self-propelled through water. So that's a nice extra feature. So we can easily put this thing back on. Now it doesn't really snap into place. We don't want it to snap into place, so it'll be easier for us to remove it, but maybe it is too easily removed. Here's another clip where we can put the lantern. Here is a hook with a string. The string is wrapped around here. We can move this arm out here to pick up some cargo. Now, this part fits in too tightly for me to be able to pull out very easily, so it's just easier to pull out this clip, and then we can unwrap this. Unwrap this here, and then we can move the hook. It's a pretty long string. There we go. So we can move the hook, pick up something from the side of the ship, and pick it up and move it onto the ship and unload it. So it's a nice little feature there. Then we have to wrap up this string again. So it takes a little bit of work to wind it up. And once we get it wound up, it will be out of our way. And then we can plug this thing back in. Although that clip is not supposed to come out. The handle is supposed to come out. But that'll be fine. Now, here's supposed to be a big ramp. The ramp is actually stored here. So it's stored in there. We can clip it onto this side to move the animals up and down onto the ark. There are a couple of ridges so we can keep the animal in place for a display. The problem with this side is they go right down into the ship, so we can actually hook up the ramp to the other side. We can just rest it on the slots there, And then the animal can go up the ramp right onto the deck and walk along the deck and walk around the deck here, and then there's another ramp here that goes down into the ark. So we can fit the animals and the people and the other things in the ark there. Oops. So I think it's a very nice playset, and it does have a lot of space to store things, keep things out of the way. All we have to do is slide it back in there. And then we're ready to go off into the seas. So it looks pretty nice. So here's the Playmobil Wildlife Set 9373 Noah's Ark. I think it's a pretty nice set. It's a big boat. It will actually float, although I haven't tried it yet, but it certainly looks like it'll float. And I do like the selection of animals. We can always buy more animals and add more animals to the set, or exchange some animals for others that we like more for a display or diorama. One possible problem is the little birds that fit on these little tiny pegs. I think some of these are a bit loose and they will fall off very easily if we're not careful, and we don't want to push too hard, otherwise we'll break something. But here the parrots. So all in all, I think it's a really nice set, and it's good for different displays. So thank you for watching my review video. Remember to like the video, leave a comment, and subscribe to my channel to keep up to date with my future reviews. I'll see you next time. Goodbye, everyone.